Hey guys, Matt here. Welcome to Learn to Discern. You know, I've been doing this channel for quite some time now, yet somehow, some way, Sid Roth still finds new ways to amaze me. But before we get to that, if you guys want to help promote Christian content here on YouTube, please go ahead and take a second now to subscribe to my channel, and thank you in advance. Okay guys, we're going to get to our video in just a second, but I love to point this out whenever I do these sorts of videos. You can see where I've highlighted on the screen that in the description for the video, it says this episode originally aired in 2010, but you can also see the date that it was posted again, January of 2025. Now the reason I bring this up is that apparently the people who work for Sid Roth or Sid Roth himself think that this is good material, that it needs to be brought back to the forefront of people's minds. They still need to see it. So we have seen other people who they made content 10, 15 years ago. Sometimes it's not quite that long, but they made it in the past and they're embarrassed. They understand that it's bad. It just obviously proves that they are scam artists or frauds or what have you, and they try to hide those things. That's not what happens with Sid Roth. It's like, here it is again. Everybody see the sort of content that we are putting out. Well, we are going to take a look at this content and we're just going to see if it's believable to us or not. Here we go.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Kevin Dedmon, and laughing. We're told, actually scientists have found that when people have deadly diseases like cancer and they start laughing, they get healed.
Have scientists told us that? I mean, maybe I've missed that study somewhere. I have heard people colloquially say that, you know, if you have a good attitude when you're going through treatment, maybe that can increase your chances. But I've never heard anybody say that if you just laugh, you get healed. If that were the case, it seems like a lot of doctors would just tell people to laugh and we wouldn't have all of the chronic illnesses and diseases that we do right now. What a bizarre statement.
I'm reminded of the scripture that says a merry heart is good medicine. My guest, Kevin, laughs over people and people get new body parts. Tell me about the person that got the...
Why do I get surprised over these things? He laughs over people and they get new body parts. You know, I'm sure he has lots of video proof of this taking place, right? I mean, cameras are everywhere and they were present in 2010 when this was recorded. I mean, apparently this is just commonplace for Kevin's ministry. He laughs over people and body parts start growing out. Would love to see some proof of that. Really, truly, would love to see it.
A new kidney.
Well, I was in Miami, Florida doing a healing conference, and the first night the ushers brought up a woman and asked, well, can you pray for her for healing? So I just asked her what she wanted. And she said, well, I really want to be healed, but I don't think I can be. And I asked why not? And she said, well, I have been suffering from kidney failure for the last 2 years, and I've been bedridden for the last 3 months, and it's gotten so bad that I finally succumbed, and I went down to the kidney transplant center and put my name on the list for a new kidney, and now my relatives who are elders at another church, they've told me that I've lost all hope for healing now because I put my name on the list, which was a demonstration of my lack of faith.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that last statement is one of the huge problems with the prosperity gospel, health, wealth, name it, claim it movement, is that many people do teach that. Many people say that if you take medicine, you go to a doctor, it's a sign of your lack of faith. Even though, you know, when Timothy was struggling with stomach problems, Paul told him to take a little wine, and Paul had ailments. He says in Galatians 4:13, it was because of a bodily ailment that he preached the gospel to the church in Galatia at first. He talked about leaving Trophimus ill in Miletus. I mean, there's tons of examples of that, but that is one of the big problems. And many, many people have prematurely died because of that sort of teaching, because they don't seek out help and they die. It's a big deal.
I responded and said, no way, your faith is standing right here, right now. And then I said, oh, more than that, I see God smiling over you right now. And then I saw an added picture And I said, I see him dancing around you. And even more than that, he's smiling over you, and he's dancing around you, and he's laughing over you. And I put my hand on her head, and she was an African-American woman, about 5'6", and she looked about 65. I found out later she was 38 years old. Put my hand on her head, and I just started laughing, and she started laughing. We're laughing, this gut-wrenching laughter over about 3 or 4 minutes. And finally she says, I'm on fire, fan me off. So her husband's behind her, fanning her off. And then we go back to laughing, and then she's yelling out, fan me off, I'm on fire. And finally she says, it's in my feet, fan me off. And her husband's on the floor fanning off her feet, and we're going back and forth laughing. And now this woman couldn't sit in a chair on her own, let alone get up out of a chair on her own. She could barely walk. She had to be helped up to the front. And all of a sudden she does something like Michael Jordan meets Bruce Lee and does this flying kick just at the front of the church, and she lands and says, I'm healed, and she's running around me yelling.
I'm sure there's video evidence of all of this, and I'm sure people will testify to this as well, right?
I'm healed, jumps into the front row seats, jumps out. Now all of a sudden she looks like she's 38 years old again. She goes back to the hospital, to the transplant center the next Monday, and they can't figure out why she's already received a brand new kidney. She got a kidney transplant as we just laughed. I never even got to pray for her. All we did was laugh.
Now, was this something?
Again, I'm sure the hospital will verify that. And I want to point this out because I know that there are likely to be people who follow Kevin Dedmon or Sid Roth watching this, and one of the unfortunate things that happens with many people within that movement, I'm not gonna say all people, but oftentimes it is presented that somebody like myself, I am just, this inferior level of Christian. It gets worded different ways, but basically, I'm not one of the people with strong faith. I'm a doubter. I don't believe, and that's why I don't get my signs, wonders, and miracles, because I just don't have faith that other people do. But I want to point out, this is exactly what happens with scams, with pyramid schemes. I mean, what do the people, if you're leading a pyramid scheme and you're trying to recruit other people into it, what do you tell them? You tell them, this is going to work for you, and look, I'm the proof that it's happening. Now you need to do all of these things, and your family and your friends, they're going to say all of these other things, but that's just because they're jealous of you. That's just because they wish they had the money, right? This is how people work and operate. And so many people have been taught to think that any sort of discernment or critical thinking is really just a lack of faith. And when they teach you that, it allows them to tell these tall tales, and that's exactly what it is. This did not happen. If this happened, then he would just go out and do it. Because it's apparently it's happening all the time. They talk about this. Watch the entirety of the video. I will put a link to it. They make it seem like this is just happening all the time. At every single service, he laughs over people and they get healed. Well, then let's get cameras. Let's see it happen. Let's take them into medical professionals who will verify all of that. That won't happen. That never happens. Do you know why that never happens? Because these people are either straight up lying or they are so completely deceived they don't even know that they're not telling you the truth. But this did not happen. Friends, this is just one more example of the many problems with Sid Roth, the people that he platforms on his television show. You need to stay away from him. You need to stay away from Kevin Dedmon and both of their ministries. All right, guys, I hope today's teaching was helpful to you. If it was helpful and you want to help get content like this out to more people on the internet, please take a second now to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless.